episode 60, I want to talk about how to generate leads on LinkedIn. I don't know if you know this, and my nephew certainly did not know this. I had a conversation with him, and he told me he was being very successful in a particular industry in finance. And he said, I don't know why anybody would ever use LinkedIn. Who's even on LinkedIn? And I said, first of all, are you on LinkedIn? And he said, no, I'm not. I said, well, if you're not on LinkedIn, how do you know that your clients are not on there? He's like, because why would my clients be on LinkedIn? Why would anyone ever go on LinkedIn? And I said, people go on LinkedIn to network. And he's like, why would anybody want to network? Why don't we just want to close deals? I said, because some people just want to build relationships and connect with other human beings. And people do business with other people that they know, they like, and they trust. And he said, well, I don't know. I don't think LinkedIn is a way to generate business. And I said, there are many ways to generate business. You just need a strategy for LinkedIn. You have a strategy for cold calling right now, and you're successfully closing deals. He's like, well, I'm not only cold calling, I'm also cold texting, I'm also cold emailing. All that together helps me close deals. He said, most of my deals come from me emailing people. And I said, great. Could you imagine if you were able to see somebody's first name, last name, company name, where they worked before, all the information about them and their business, how you'd be able to leverage that in your emails and with the communication that you have via text, and when you have a phone conversation with them, when you have tons of information on each person. And he said, I don't see how I would be able to use that information. Like what? So let's say I'm speaking to a doctor. I'm like, okay, great. He's like, first of all, what doctor, what pediatrician would even be on LinkedIn? I said, I literally just had this conversation with somebody else. I literally just had this conversation. He said, there are no pediatricians on LinkedIn. I said, did you even search pediatrician? He's like, no, I didn't. I'm just assuming, why would a pediatrician be on LinkedIn? I said, okay, let's search pediatrician. Let's literally search that word on LinkedIn. So I searched the word pediatrician on LinkedIn. I clicked people. You know, you can choose people, jobs, data, whatever. I searched people. 133 million pediatricians on LinkedIn. Like, I kid you not. And I said, 133, what? How many pediatricians? I said 133,000, not million. 133,000 pediatricians. I said, is that not enough pediatricians? He's like, okay, so how many of them are even in the U.S.? I said, good call. I don't know. Let me check. So I look, he's almost 31,000. There's 31,000 pediatricians on LinkedIn in the U.S., and you're telling me that there are no pediatricians on LinkedIn? Let's take a look. Look at this. 33,000 pediatricians right here. 31,000. 31,000 pediatricians in the U.S. And you're telling me that there are no pediatricians on LinkedIn? These are not just pediatricians. These are pediatricians where you learn everything about them. Like this guy, Matthew Cohen. He's a pediatrician. Okay, he's in Long Beach. He has 427 connections. You see where he went to school. You don't know the pediatricians that you're looking up where they went to school. You see the mutual connections that you have. So if I want to connect with him, I can just speak to my friend Alan or my friend Michael, and they can connect me with Matthew directly. He's like, why would a pediatrician want to be on LinkedIn to begin with? I said, there are many reasons. Maybe they're entrepreneurs. Maybe they have multiple businesses. Maybe they're thought leaders. Maybe they're speakers. Maybe they wrote a book. Maybe they're on LinkedIn because they actually like business networking. Maybe they're there to find other pediatricians and to build relationships with the pediatrician world. These are real pediatricians. Now, are they very active on LinkedIn? You can find ones that are very active on LinkedIn. All you got to do is search with Sales Navigator to determine if they're very active. He's like, hang on a second, what's Sales Navigator? I said, wake up and smell the internet. Literally, wake up and smell the internet. You can search pediatrician in Sales Navigator. You can search who posted on LinkedIn. Look at this. In the past 30 days, 4,500 pediatricians posted on LinkedIn. This is insane. This is insane. So you find the right people. This woman in New York, Hina. She's a pediatrician, an adolescent medicine specialist. She's Instagram's teen health doc. So she's also an influencer on Instagram. So let's look her up on Instagram. Let's go to Instagram.com/this woman's name right here. I'm going to share this tab right here. This is her Instagram. Pulling it up right here. She has 93,000 followers on Instagram. She's a pediatrician. What are you talking about? How could you say pediatricians are not on LinkedIn? How? How do you have the audacity to tell me that when I'm literally showing you that there are pediatricians on LinkedIn and there are tens of thousands of them in the US? So he's like, okay, there are pediatricians on LinkedIn. But what do you want me to do with that information? I said everything. Everything you do when you get on the phone with somebody, which is build a relationship, you do with a pediatrician. You find their information on LinkedIn, you connect with them, you build a relationship with them, you get to know them, you research them, and LinkedIn's just one of the tools in your tool belt. LinkedIn's not the end-all tool, but it's one of the tools in your tool belt. If 4,500 pediatricians posted on LinkedIn in the past 30 days, you can leave 4,500 comments on those pediatricians. You can save them to lists. You can build relationships with them. He's like, but what am I going to do? How am I going to comment on their posts? I said, you're going to use my artificial intelligence tool called Evie AI. He's like, you built an artificial intelligence tool called Evie AI? I'll show you. So let me show you. Let me show you the tool. It's called Evie AI, EVYAI.com. Improve your credibility and engagement on LinkedIn. EVYAI.com, just like that. You can comment, you can write posts, you can create recommendations, messaging helper. He's like, write posts? Who writes posts on LinkedIn? Isn't LinkedIn a place where you just put resumes? I was like, are you kidding me? I just finished telling you that 4,500 recommendations, 500 pediatricians, 4,500 pediatricians are on LinkedIn posting, and you're telling me, how do you post on LinkedIn? Dude, you don't even have a LinkedIn account. You don't even have a LinkedIn account. Look at this. I literally just left a comment on Mark's profile, just like that. And I told him, I only have a couple of connections left. I have 29,919 connections. That means I only have 81 connections that I can add more. And I have 1,492 notifications in my invites. I have over 1,000 people waiting to connect with me on LinkedIn. But I can only accept 81 more. So I got to be really picky with who I'm accepting as a connection. I got to be really, really picky now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the right people, add them, and then I'm going to start removing people from my network that are no longer engaged on LinkedIn. People that are just not using it. I only want engaged LinkedIn users. I only want to connect with people that will actually answer me when I message them. So many people, I message them and they don't answer me. That's okay. That means they're not using LinkedIn. I'll put them in my CRM. I'll email them. I'll tag them that I removed them. And now they're in my CRM forever. And I can see if I ever need them, I can just contact them through my CRM because they're not using LinkedIn anyway. So what's the point of being connected to somebody if they're not using it? Let's take a look at a video I did today. I created a video with artificial intelligence. See this video? This video got 739 impressions. Let's listen in. Now, I just filmed myself running for 3 seconds, and then I filmed myself jumping for 30 seconds. And then I threw that into artificial intelligence and made this video for me. I posted this on Instagram, I posted this on LinkedIn, and I got massive exposure from people. Who are these people? For example, Dan Gelastino. Who's Don Gelastino? Who is he? He has hundreds of employees. He's a very, very successful CEO. He manages over 7,000 elevators in his elevator company. These are the people that are on LinkedIn, millionaires. David is a millionaire. These are the multi-millionaire successful people that I'm engaging with on LinkedIn. And people ask me, why are you on LinkedIn? Why are you building relationships on LinkedIn? Because this is where it's at. LinkedIn is very, very powerful. Very powerful. So I recommend that you guys consider leveraging LinkedIn. Learn how to use it. I write about this in my LinkedIn newsletter. Go check this out. I have a LinkedIn newsletter over here. You click here, you click from frustration to motivation, and you'll notice I have a LinkedIn newsletter. How to download your LinkedIn connections into a CRM, 52 LinkedIn strategies that will teach you how to use LinkedIn, that we teach in our thing, the LinkedIn activity checklist, the daily LinkedIn activity checklist. Like, just go through my content and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let me see if anybody here left a comment here. I'm going to go into my posts. I'm going to click on view all activity here. Guys, let me know where you're dialing in from. If you're live now on this Sunday evening at 8:30 p.m., let me know if you're here. I'm going to give myself a little heart. You can give me a little insightful or a little celebrate or a little thumbs up. Go ahead and click on it. Also, if you're watching this, whether it's the live or the replay, hit the repost button. Feel free to go ahead and hit that repost button. This is also live on YouTube and on Facebook. We're going live in many places. And I actually have this new webcam that I've been messing with. This webcam allows me to zoom in. Look at that, just zoom in and zoom out. I love it. I love it. It also follows me around. It's an AI webcam. Have you ever seen such a thing? Have you ever seen an AI webcam that follows you? So let's say I go over here like this. See that? It follows me around. This is insane. I love this technology. Technology makes me happy. What makes you happy? What creates more awareness and happiness in your life? I want to know. When I build a relationship with someone, when I connect with someone, when I go deep with someone, that gives me energy. Does it give you energy to go deep with someone, to connect with someone, to get to know someone? Let me know. Let me know what gives you positive energy, what makes you feel good. In the comments below, I'd love to hear from you. Now, does LinkedIn work? Does LinkedIn not work? It all depends if you're willing to work it. It all depends on your strategy. So there are 3 things that go into a LinkedIn strategy. There's your plan, there's the people, and there's your promise, your messaging. When it comes to your plan, what is your business plan? How much revenue do you want to generate? What is your marketing plan? How many leads do you need, and what does a qualified lead look like? What is your LinkedIn plan? What are the specific activities that you're going to be doing, and how are they going to help you be able to get those leads, and how are they going to help you be able to get that revenue? That's your plan. Then there's the people. You have 2 types of people you want to connect with on LinkedIn: potential clients and centers of influence. Those are the people you want to connect with. There's a very specific way to connect with them. And I love helping people be able to find that way and support you on your journey to actually leveraging LinkedIn. And then there's your messaging, understanding the needs of your customer, understanding their challenges, the questions they might ask, their goals, like really breaking it down. That is where it's at. Once you figure all that out, and you can use AI to help you figure it out, then it's about telling stories, optimizing your profile, using the right technologies, using the right automation tools. I'm actually having an automation workshop. Write automation in the chat if you want an invite. It's on Tuesday at 10 a.m. If you go to my previous post, you'll find it. I'm also having a networking event on Wednesday at 4 p.m. You're invited. If you'd like to join me, let me know. It's a high energy networking event. It's going to be so much fun. I'm also doing a webinar. I'm doing several webinars next week. So if you'd like to join one of my webinars, whether it's about LinkedIn or AI, let me know. I'd love to have you there. I'm here to add value. I wrote a book. See this book here? It's called High Energy Networking. It might be upside, might be flipped upside down. Is that better? High Energy Networking. This book, it's get anything you want in your life while building meaningful relationships that last a lifetime. So I'm just going to read you one chapter of the book. Why? Because I can. I originally met him at an EO event, Entrepreneurs Organization. He was the president of the New York City EO chapter. EO is a global organization for companies that produce over $1 million a year in sales. I offered to meet him in Brooklyn for breakfast, and he agreed. We sat down to talk, and he didn't talk much about what we did for a living. Instead, we shared stories about our lives and our experiences. We talked about our kids. We talked about our hobbies, what made us tick. Towards the end of the meeting, I asked him to tell me who he wants to meet. He explained to me that he wanted to meet decision makers at hospitals in New Jersey that had over 500 employees. It was a software I subscribed to that had a list ready and available, so I offered him to send him a list of hundreds of contacts with email addresses of people that can have his team contact immediately to help him get meetings. He was grateful, and he asked me who he could introduce me to. I made it very simple. I told him I wanted to meet leaders who were in charge of sales and marketing teams that generated over $20 million a year in sales. I also offered to email him info and a story about how we helped those companies. After the meeting, I went back to my office. I sent him a list as promised. And I reminded him about the type of intros that I'm looking for. He replied enthusiastically and thanked me for giving him the valuable list. A few weeks passed, and I got an email from him introducing me to a director of sales and marketing at a manufacturing company in Brooklyn. They were looking for a marketing agency to help them with a marketing campaign. I booked the meeting quickly, and in one 15-minute conversation, they invited me over to their headquarters in downtown Brooklyn to present to the executive team about how we can help them. After the meeting, they said they are ready to get started with us. The director of sales said the following: if you get an intro from the president of EO, then you're hired. Turns out he was a longtime EO member that had deep roots and trust with other CEOs that were part of the network. Well, that turned into a $2 million deal, $2 million in revenue for Ajax Union. They were our biggest client that year, and they helped us change the way that we do business forever. Networking, that one meeting made me realize the power of business networking. I never looked back, and I've been committed to deep, intentional networking ever since. Here's what Zig Ziglar said: you can get anything you want in life if you just help enough people get what they want. Think about your networking approach and ask yourself if you're willing to do the work it takes to connect with the right people properly and follow up and stay top of mind. Remember this: it only takes one conversation to transform your life and your business. So here's the high energy networking step. Identify a person who helped you in your life or business and identify how they helped you. Write down a story that will inspire you to build more meaningful relationships with people like them. That's high energy networking. That's one of the 52 chapters. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next LinkedIn Live. This was episode 60. I'm excited about doing another 170 something of them. But I'm going to be doing them often. My goal for this year is 244.